Hello, how are you? It's an important question for me because a lot of things are happening within the society today. We wake up, we watch the COVID, the NCDC, page. A lot is happening. People are going, how are you? It's important, it's imperative, especially for the House of Conversation. It's reaching you from the studios of the Nigerian Television Authority. My name is Elizabeth. By now, last week, we started a conversation. And you all unanimously asked us to continue with it today. And we're here to make good our promises because we said we will continue. The regular guests are all here. Let me have them introduce themselves. Starting, Kevin, I don't understand. Today you're looking like you dropped off 20 years. I know you're a grandfather. Why are you forming old boy, a small boy?
I just turned 28.
Today you just turned 28.
Yeah.
You're older than me.
And
I'm 15 going to 16.
Get your attention all along. So it's working. So Kevin Fineface here.
All right.
It's good to be here this morning. My name is Joy Opanachi.
All right.
It's a fine morning, everybody, and I'm happy to build lives as we speak.
All right, so I sent your link to the people who wanted it. Okay. That's the perfect, the book you wrote on imperfection and perfection. Yeah, so I sent out the book, and I hope they enjoyed watching and reading at the same time. Now we're going to take a break. Don't forget, the topic is managing marital relationship. A drama happened in someone's house. And my people here, my winning team, went back and reenacted it. Let's see what they did.
Let's call Mama. Eh?
Yes, my son.
Yes, Mama.
When you came to marry our daughter, we gave her to you from the depth of our hearts. Remember, when so many persons were asking of you higher bride price, we said no. Because our daughter is not for sale. But of recent, two of you are now at each other's neck. What is the matter, my son? Is it food that you two do not see to eat in this house? That is why I am here.
Mama, I don't know what the problem is. I'm trying all my possible best to make this relationship a better one. Mama, you see this big house. I built this house and furnished it for her. Mama, our children, they are in abroad. She goes to visit them every 3 months. I still give her money for shopping. Mama, I change her car for her every year. I don't know what else she wants me to do. Maybe you should ask her because I'm trying my best, Mama. I don't know.
My daughter, is that true? Speak up! I want to hear from you. Do you think it is easy to marry this kind of a man as a husband? I want to hear from you. Speak up.
Mama, it is said that when a man and a woman gets married, they become husband and wife. Can you believe that my darling husband sleeps in a different room while I sleep in an entirely different room? Do I look like a piece of furniture that sits around for people to come and admire? I am a woman. Mama, I am a woman.
Okay. Is that all? My daughter, don't worry. Just go. Let me speak. My son.
I noticed all of you were raps, and you were captivated. Before I even talk about the contents, I would like to mention that piece was actually put together by some of our ITs and core members on their own with their phones. You won't believe that. I think Dairo, Ado Nobu,
Spontaneously, just like that.
Solomon, a whole lot of them. You know, they all
Beautiful,
did that.
wow.
I was quite
That
impressed
shows
when I
a
saw
lot
it.
of resourcefulness.
They are, yes, if you allow
They should have
children,
automatic
they actually.
employment.
I'm not going to answer that. Anyway, we're talking about the content now, which is the story. Somebody wrote us last week. I'm going to open the iPad and was saying about the same story, really, that women should actually speak out when they feel their husbands are derailing, because he was in position, you know, some time ago, and it took the wife gently, you know, to speak out and to get him back on track. You know, he went and told the story. She complained to the man's friend, and the man's friend came to the house and was discussing something as if it was a story that happened elsewhere, how he was derailing, and the wife, you know, had to remind him in the morning. The woman will get up and do her prayers, and rather than, you know, talk to the man to get around and do your conjugal rights, she starts a particular song, you know, in Igbo. He says, "Kunie budike." It means stand up, you're the tiger or something, and do your job. And he said at first, he thought she was just doing worship songs, and he didn't mind. Eventually, when she made food, instead of saying, "My darling husband, come and eat," she now went and said, "Brother," okay, assuming his name is Kevin, "Brother Kevin, food is ready." And it was like, where is this brother coming from?
Exactly.
So it was then he connected the song and brother.
oh dear.
He said, "No, I'm losing it."
Something is wrong.
So he had to stand up to it. And eventually when they made up, and the wife now said, "This is why I was singing the song for you." He said he didn't get it. Sometimes it's good for us to speak out rather than just being angry. The lady we saw went to call her mother, even though I think it wasn't necessary, you know, for you
Did
to
she
bring in
call
a
her
third
mom?
party.
Or her mom noticed?
On the mom noticed. Maybe she came to visit, I don't really know, but the mom now came in, and of course when the mom noticed what the problem was, she knew it wasn't a big issue. She relaxed like the mother she is, and decided to advise the woman. I don't know, are there other means we can actually tackle such incidents?
Yeah, you know, first we need to understand that we're not psychic beings. We said that last week. Oftentimes there's this assumption that the other person should know better what we're going through, what we're going through. So what we do, we speak non-passively, tend to use signs and other things to communicate to our partner. Now, our partner likely might not be a sign reader, you know, and so we want to hear, like you just mentioned of the story now, of the things we're supposed to say. There are people that you can actually communicate to via reverse engineering. I've had an experience where if I need to eat rice in the evening, I will say I don't want to eat rice in the evening.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So that's reverse engineering. You know, kind of speaking in a way to say, because there are people who resist things by their personality defaults. They just don't like to be told what to do.
Yeah.
If you're not careful how you speak it, you lose them completely. So we need to understand our partners. How do we communicate to understand of our partners so that we can get the feedback we need? Because the essence of communicating is to be able to get a feedback. You're going through what you're going through. I've had, you know, I have this men group that I, you know, always communicate.
I hope it's not Stingy Men
No,
Association.
it's not. It's basically men that need to speak for themselves, and because men don't actually have voices, and so what we do,
Are you sure?
yeah, men don't have voices.
That's
We
another
always shut
topic for
out
another
and
day.
shut down, you know, because when you speak, they say you're a man, be a man, right? And so you don't speak. And so even when you're denying sex at home, they said you should be a man, you should know what to do, right? No, it's wrong. So one of the things we say to them, say, your wife is not a furniture. We've come to realize that one of the best ways to love someone is based on their terms. If you must love especially a woman, if you must love a woman, it's based on her terms. She needs an iPad. If you buy a Ferrari, the Ferrari is worthless because she needs an iPad. And so sometimes you begin to wonder, he said, I'm giving her everything. She travels abroad.
Kevin,
but
you're
what she
talking
needs,
about iPad because I just opened mine.
no, what she needs is probably the attention.
This is not my
that
turn.
time. She probably could be the person that needs time, quality time to be spent with. Not all of these other things. But he didn't understand it. So he thought he was working so hard. He needs his space, he wants to be in his room after giving her all the things that he wants to give to her. She's not a trophy, for crying out loud. She is a human being that have needs. And especially if a woman needs quality time, then you need to give to her that quality time. Your money is worthless.
Definitely. Definitely. You know, there's another thing that bothers me. Maybe you can speak on that. A lot of people quarrel, you know, husband and wives. And I know quarrel is normal.
Yeah.
But the use of abusive words, it's what I don't get. And it's the same mouth, like the Bible will say, don't speak evil of God and come back to praise
Yes,
me.
it's the same mouth.
What do you think of that?
Words are really tough. Words are harsh, you know, and understanding, like Kevin was saying, is so real. How we talk to somebody, what you say to the person, I mean, we all have misunderstandings. Whatever it is, if we calm down just a little bit, breathe in and out maybe, count 1 to 10 maybe, you know, and don't say those words that, because the truth is that many times the words that you have right here to say,
They're
are
really
not
bad
just
ones.
yes, you know, and they may not even just be abusive words sometimes. There are words that, you know, you just want to say so that it hurts the other person. They might just be truths, but you know, you can say it in a different way. Because, like they say, how would you want to hear it for yourself? If it was you, how would you feel with somebody say? So if you think back a little bit, you know, but the truth is that everything takes time. You have to grow into it, but make a conscious effort to calm down. Don't let your first reaction come out from whatever you're thinking in your mind. So calm down, breathe in and out. Possibly, count 1 to 10. Possibly, I mean, do something and say.
She's not agree with you. This breathing,
This breathing is not going to work. It's not
Could
going
it
to
work?
work. No, could it work? I think studying your partner, knowing your partner, like I always say, when you're angry, just take a walk or leave that environment. When you calm down, then you people can talk. Because when two people are
angry
and everybody is talking high tone, you don't even hear what the other person is even saying. So the thing here is understanding. If, like you asked Kelvin about calling a third party, sometimes I'm between words, because here they say when you marry your spouse, you should sort out your problems yourself. Then you go call a parent. Parents are different. Another mother will say, he's giving you everything. Another woman wants everything. What's the big deal about you people sleeping in the same room? Another lady will say, for her, I think she wanted attention. For me, I think it was more about sex. It wasn't attention per se. So the thing here is,
and
like,
that's the crux of marriage.
why are you giving it out when you should give it in?
That's the crux of marriage. Because
Most-
if he's
yeah.
to do the dishes, he can get a house help.
He can get the help.
If he's to cook, he can get a cook.
So the thing here is, most of the time, I think we shouldn't call a third party. I think we should be able to talk with our spouses. Tell them, talk with them. And I always tell people, talk to your spouses at night.
At night.
It's better.
Is it that's when he hears?
I think that's when he hears.
Well, it depends.
I
you
think
know,
that's when he
you know,
hears.
it actually depends. You know, if I must come in here, when you said don't call the third party, it all depends. These are all different peculiarities.
Yes, I know.
There are spouses that don't have the confidence to communicate to their partner
Okay, true.
by way of the recruitment process.
Okay.
Maybe like we talked
Recruitment
about.
process?
Yeah, you know, we talked about the class status things last
Oh,
week.
Okay, yeah,
okay.
true.
And so if someone comes to you and gets you married as if he's doing you a favor, and you accept that, of course, it becomes the pattern you follow through.
difficult.
You can't necessarily talk to him. There are those who think that they are warlords, so their wives can't even get closer. Then there are also ladies who believe that they must say it as it is in their heart and hit you so hard. Men are worse hit when it comes to words than women, but a lot of people don't know.
True.
And so what she does is that she realizes, okay, this guy can be broken, so she used those words to hit him and say that it is, even in a very bad manner.
But what if it works?
Now, it doesn't always work, you know, because when you pour water on a duck's body, you say, okay, it doesn't get to the duck, right? But when you pour water on a chick, it gets wet because the fall very lighter and all of those things. So men's falls are actually lighter. So you want to be careful how you use
You're
words.
telling us. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
men's falls, their falls are actually very lighter, very thin. So you want to be careful.
into men today.
You want to be careful with how you use words on your partners, especially even your sons.
Yeah.
And that is why our mothers have the way to bring us to the labs to make us calm down.
Yeah.
We've done something wrong. Maybe if dad wants to beat and they give us that pet name and bring us closer. It is a dynamic that we must deploy. So when you talked about, trying to engage your partner, it's a recruitment process. How did you both start? Was it something that you started from the beginning? If you want to start in the middle, then you must be prepared. You must behave like Esther in the Bible. Know when to approach the king.
Can I say
Beware
something?
fortified for
When you
it.
said this, so I have about, you have verbal and non-verbal communication, right?
True.
And so like there's a story, a popular story in the Bible that says that when they brought a prostitute to Jesus to say, this woman has been caught in adultery, what should we do? What did Jesus do?
Started right on it.
He just kept quiet first of all.
Yes.
Yeah, you never know.
Calm
He was
down.
probably just thinking, what should I tell
What
these
should I
people
say?
really? So if we really
I think you have to calm down.
calm down.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it can happen, as Joy says, you can walk away, but I'm not really of this, that's class to say walk away. I rather that you stay there and sort it out. Even if you're just looking at yourselves. You know what I mean? I gave the example last week of how my husband said, you must face me. Even if you have to just sit there and say nothing.
The recruitment process matters a lot.
And when we're talking about, what do
Foundations.
women want? Maybe they want the sex. Even the men, they want it more,
Yeah.
right? So the way you even, non-verbal. So besides the singing, rise up and do your duty. Touch him in a different way. Touch her in a different way.
Or be
Sometimes-
scanty.
Yeah.
No, but I think one thing about that is the opposite sex, the female ones, try and dress seductive. Because I think so many women don't have
Forget
their baths. They
after
go to
some time.
bed
Ugh, God, yes.
after cocaine and all that. After
somebody will
all
go
the
to bed
day's
without
work.
bathing?
Yes, after all
Yes.
the day's work
Yes.
and all that. It's not going to be romantic. So I think you check yourself as well. I always say women should check themselves as well. Because everybody says it's the men, it's the men, it's the men. I'm a woman, but I think so many women should check themselves.
The word dynamism comes into play when it comes to women checking themselves. The thinking that I've already known him is he wouldn't like me is wrong. Men depend solely on variety. It's
Spice of life.
it's a default mechanism that they've been built with. Last week I gave an example of you. If you have a cock within an environment, a cock can mate an hen, right, for once and be satisfied. But if you have 10 hens, we go around the 10 hens almost at the same time. That's how the cock is designed. There are about 500 million sperm cells that is ejected once there's an ejaculation. About 500 million. So there's a desire to be able to get to do more. So the women need to be dynamic. If you worked yesterday with this pattern, don't depend on that pattern to do same thing tomorrow. You have to be dynamic. How do you get his attention? Sometimes, if the pocket is empty, it doesn't affect the environment because they are very close. The pocket and that environment is very, very close. So nothing actually works, And so you want to be careful to be sure that's what it is. Now, if the pocket is empty, some other times also, it's the best thing that can happen to the man that because his pocket is empty, you still value him to give him what he needs. Makes him to become a real man, not to look at himself because of economic reasons and he's not able to. Not that when he comes around, is that all you think about? Is that what you only think about? There's no food in the house and that's what you're thinking about. No, that breaks him. What you want to do is to give him that, then talk about how you can get out of the situation. So that I think you should be able to meet XYZ person. You should be able to go this way. Now, because he has done this duty, the altar call has been done, it clears off all of the stress on the head. He thinks better. New blood flows through his stream. And before it is happening, he's getting result. And he comes back again to carry on the... Yeah, I'm telling you. He comes back again and carry out this assignment.
I hope it's working.
No, it works. 100% of men, it works for them. Because I engage men, pastors and everybody. So these are some of the things we talk about, because we need to come to light to this thing.
Good to know that you talk about
That's
that.
what I'm
learning
saying.
about men.
We're learning about men. Because the men that I see outside are different.
Well, some might be, and which is one plus, not 1 after 10, but this is a simple dynamism we can actually use to get results. Then when you talk about this marital thing and talk about engagement, there's something that comes to mind also, which is that How do we, all of a sudden, just forgot this person we pursued? We can't do without. We just forgot about this person all of a sudden. Why? I found out from a little research that we did in our midst, it is because of ineffective communication.
Basically.
Ineffective communication. So what happened was this. We started thinking that the person already knows everything that should be known. We're no longer communicating. Now, she needs to know everything that is happening in your life. But because you wanted to create this surprise element, you're not telling her everything. Guess what happens? Suddenly, she starts breaking out. So she starts acting in such manner to communicate to you that she wasn't happy, but non-verbally. Then you didn't even know that that was what she was doing. You start reacting to her actions. Guess what? You're separated. Because you're separated, you now start shouting at one another because you want to be heard. So every little thing, you're
triggers
like, you just, what is wrong with you? I've been trying to say this, I've been trying to do this. No. Is it easy for you to sit down with your spouse and look into the person's eyes? You're pained and you want to talk. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. You talked about your partner and it was fantastic that, look at me. Some ladies, you tell them, look at me, they walk away. Because that's like command. Because personality default says, you can't command me. Those are the resistant type of persons. They have more of the male hormones in them. And so their reactions will oftentimes look like, I'm a man in context. Don't talk to me in a nice manner. You don't tell them what to do. You plead with them. Appeal to their conscience.
All right, Kevin, sorry, I have to cut you in there. But you see, at the end of the day, from what everyone has said, I still go back to, like you put it, a recruitment process. It's always important you marry your friend. It's always important you marry for the best reasons. Because if you marry somebody who is not your friend, you will not be able to take a lot of pains or a lot of rubbish from the person, and you will not be able to communicate. And it's also important in relationship, when you're getting angry, remember when it was good and fall back to it. It's important. And then if you understand yourself, there are some people that know that they are hot-tempered. When they are angry, they don't want to talk because they are trying to, salvage the relationship. If you understand such a person, don't push him, don't push her to talk. If she's angered and is walking away, let her be. When it's time, she's going to come back and speak with you. The other thing I notice is a lot of men feel is they have this feeling of entitlement. It's not my place to say sorry. It's not my place to say please. But you know what? It makes you more manly in the eye of a lot of women. When you understand that you're wrong, you say, oh, darling, I'm sorry. That person that raised that knife to cut you, that thing, you've killed her. The hand will fall down and the knife is going to fall as well.
But there are also exceptions. Because there are those when we start saying sorry and say you act sissy.
No.
I've seen it.
I don't.
No,
I've seen it.
I've seen it. That oftentimes you say sorry. You're always there to act and say you should be a man enough.
It
depends on the situation.
I walked out of a relationship, right? Because the lady said I should have actually beaten her up to prove my love.
Well, no, I think she's sick. She's actually sick.
Good.
That's why I say. No, that's why I say that. I always tell people that people are different. People are actually different. There's certain people you meet, there's certain people you see, and you find out that people did not really have a relationship. What they had was, oh my God, she is beautiful. Oh my God, she has that bottle figure. Relationship goes past beauty. Relationship for me is when I marry her and she gives birth, this bottle figure, is it still going to be there? This shape, is it still going to be there? Because many relationships have broken down because what they saw when they met them has totally 360 changed. Because now she is big, now she is not fashionable, now there's something wrong, she doesn't take care of herself. Because basically the foundation was beauty. They didn't really look into it that this is what I was looking for in this relationship. So we said it last week. Foundation,
It's important.
friendship
Friendship.
is key
There
to
was
all this we're talking about.
One time in school, a friend of mine, I got outside my hostel, and a friend of mine was sitting down crying. And I was wondering, what's wrong with you? And she said, these men, they're so mean that they chase you. They're chasing you, and they're so nice, they're so sweet, and you know, and the minute they catch you, even their voice changes. I'm looking at Kelvin because it's that chase and conquer thing that men have.
Sad.
You know,
Trophy
so-
collectors.
Yes, so you
Sad.
just want to win.
Yeah.
And then what happens? But what happens is that also, even for the women, I always tell people, you know what? Let them chase you. Pose. Pose until you enter that house. Because your value is more.
Yes.
The minute they catch you, they just start behaving anyhow.
No, even when you enter the house,
Yes.
like I tell every
Yes.
woman, please, every year, your bride price increases
Increase, it should
because your
increase, yes.
value has increased. Do you understand? When you decide, you can ask the man to pay again. But that's by the way. Going by what you said, you know, the men buy a car, and every day they wake up, wash this car. A lot of them will tell you, that's my first wife. Now you marry a woman, and you don't bother with her. I tell every man, if you love your wife looking slick, please ensure that you constantly encourage her to stay fit. Talk to her about healthy eating. Talk to her about healthy exercise. Talk to her about, you know, her fashion. And, you know, a lot of times the men actually, you dress up, they don't bother to compliment you.
True.
So you're like, okay, what the heck? He doesn't even notice.
Yeah.
You go to the salon, you do your hair, you come back. He didn't notice you even went to the salon. You're smelling all the salon oil and all that. He didn't even notice. So at a point, some give up. But then I tell such women, you know, look good for yourself.
yourself.
Not for the
Definitely
man.
yourself,
That's
yes.
true.
But then the men, if you want to continuously enjoy your relationship, women are like babies any day, anytime. They like to be flattered.
Yes.
Try to flatter your woman, you know. Even when you want to correct her, oh, darling, this cup is beautiful. You know, did you do this? Wow. But I think if you actually add this more,
Yes.
it will be better.
Do you know what? Do you know?
actually
what-
told
no,
her
do you,
that
do you
you
know
don't
I'm
like it,
laughing?
tell
Do you
me.
know why I'm laughing? I have a friend. The guy is my friend. The husband is my friend. And somehow the lady really doesn't have friends. So now she's like, she says, you know what? I don't have a sister, so you're my big sister. And she said, sis, I need to tell you something. My husband compliments other people.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't compliment me.
He goes on Instagram, Facebook, and all that and compliments other people. He doesn't even say she looks nice. He now looks for the
Bad things.
bad thing in her
That's wrong.
and says, oh my God, look at how you look.
See
Blah,
your
blah, blah,
see
blah,
your
blah, blah,
stomach,
blah.
Michelin.
He says, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? It gets to her.
It definitely will.
And guess what? She tells me every day. So I'm sure he's watching. So he will know that I'm talking about him. Compliment your wives. If you can compliment their food, I think you should be able to compliment their looks.
You know, to add to what you said, this individual you just mentioned, what could be the reason is some kind of insecurity. They're thinking that if I compliment her this much, it will get to her and she will be let loose. So
Then don't compliment other people.
So some men, it's deliberate to continue to seek for the attention that it thinks that it deserves. We need to understand some of these things.
But you
That-
know,
you-
that man will lose the woman
Nah,
if he continues.
That's if
And
he continues.
somebody, what of
Now,
if
when it
somebody
comes-
compliments
complimenting
her?
outside, you lose that
there's,
woman.
there's a good part, right?
Yeah.
The good part is the fact that she was able to
Tell
get in
somebody.
touch with her. So the message can be passed to him. Now, he's just listening. So he cannot start complimenting. Forget about, see, your insecurity does not hold water. For me, that's my belief
Okay.
in relationship. Does not hold water. No matter how germane it is, it does not hold water. Someone said, how do I tell somebody the salt is too much in the food that they cook? And he said, honey, maybe it's like Lot's wife visited our home.
I'm not sure about that.
So,
I'm not sure about
Is that
that.
a joke?
so,
Are you sure she's going to understand?
good. I'm just saying,
That's so not right.
When I was growing up, my mom
That's
had cooked
insulting.
and I didn't like what she could. I told her straight up. And I was called. I said, don't say that.
Yes.
You know, you have to say the good things first before you can
first,
compliment.
exactly.
I said, but I need to say my mind.
Yes.
So I learned a great lesson, not to compliment badly, but it's not always easy. And it also depends on
just
the
say
process.
health-wise.
Sometimes,
Let me
because
say
of how
this.
you guys grew up, the
Yeah.
playfulness.
Very
Ah,
true.
sweetheart,
Exactly.
what happened now? It's your salt too much, oh. Jokingly.
That's true. Yeah.
You can say it. I love this. Is every time you be complimenting my words, what do you want? Have you ever heard that? Some men
Yes,
hear that.
yes.
They compliment their wives and she said, you want sex? He said, you're complimenting me. It shuts him out.
So we're talking about this insecurity.
So
A
there's
friend
a
of
balance
mine
we must look at.
just this week was telling me how she's doing so well at work, right? And so she comes home and she tells her husband all the time. He never says anything. He's always teasing her and like, please, you and this way that you are, this your hard tone, this your that. So she got invited. They got invited to dinner at work dinner, the husband, and managers at work. So they were now telling him that this your wife is such a hardworking person. She's so this excellent, and and he went on and on. So the guy said, I hope you know. The husband said, please stop. You soon make her head. You're making her head swell.
Oh my God.
So when also you don't get this at home, you have to really be secure in who you are, confident in who you are.
agree.
You don't wait for it, and because sometimes you wait for it, you don't get it.
But sometimes it's not easy.
It's not easy, but you have to.
It's
You
not
choose
easy.
that.
We
We
all
must teach
crave.
ourselves to be strong.
We all crave for
we crave.
affirmations. We
I agree. I
crave
tell
for it.
people, you see, the same way with men and women, we seek it. I say, you know what? Tell your husband something nice every morning. I tell people when you wake up, kiss yourselves.
Even though he has a pot belly, your pot belly is beautiful.
6-pack.
No,
And
that's
you
your
just-
special calabash.
Yes.
That's it.
So you tell him it's your
Wow,
calabash.
and you just rub it
Lazy.
nicely.
No,
rub it nicely.
Rub it nicely. But in who you are, because what happens that you grow, we're all talking about growing. You grow and you keep seeking for this
Validation.
validation from somewhere else. And you get older and it gets worse.
Yeah.
So be happy in your skin, like we said.
Yes.
Be happy with
Our
self-worth.
size and all of that.
Strengthen yourself the more.
Yeah.
Because you wait for it.
It might never come.
Sometimes
But
it
I
may
can
never
also,
come,
I've said this also, it's very important with sound is, be careful where you get validations from. Because for every act of good, we makes a woman to be more vulnerable. I don't care what she is,
Yeah.
every act of good makes her to be vulnerable. So be careful. Where
So
you
what
get,
about men?
No.
You said makes a
no, I
woman-
said for every act of good makes a woman more vulnerable.
So what about
Now,
men?
for men,
Yeah.
for every time a man gets attention, respect from outside, is always one leg out.
Okay.
For men.
Out
I-
of your
Thanks
house.
for your
yeah,
honesty.
it's always one leg out. Because, I mean, a man seeks for peace. See, I give this scenario every time. Our moms oftentimes brings us to the lab. How did they successfully do that?
Because she's your mom.
Mom, right?
Yeah.
A guy is first a boy before he becomes a king.
Yeah.
So learn to feed the boy and respect the king. A girl,
King?
yes,
Oh, please.
a girl is first, a woman is first a girl before she becomes a queen.
Okay.
So play with the girl. Because when you play with the girl, then you get her attention, then you show her honor and worship. That's why we worship. That's why we go out hustling. A man will not do anything without a woman. He will be in the cave. But because you ladies are there, we're out there in the street to make sure we impress you. If you look at the peacock has the most beautiful feathers, not the cheacock. Why? Because the man has to work so hard to get attention of the woman. You say you also will struggle, pursue you too hard. Don't let a guy pursue you too hard. Because once he gets you, become a trophy.
Okay, so
I
before
don't
we get
agree
there-
with that.
We're going to continue with
hard.
it.
Continue
Not
for
too hard.
Even after wedding, please
continue
continue
for
pursuing me.
yes,
We're going to take a break now. While we pursue ourselves.
Oh my
Let's go on
God.
a break.
We want to talk about rights, there are obligations. I'm not saying that this government is a saint, very far from it. But there are things that we can do to make it better, and that's the challenge I'm throwing to you. You don't want to build this nation? I don't know where else you want to go. If I had a choice, I'll come back. When I stand outside and I hear what you have to say about this country that I know that I can die for as one, then I'm really sad because you're young. you have education, you have tools, you have a huge future ahead of you, and you're condemning yourself before you started on that journey. So please don't do that. Please don't.
All right, it's still conversation, and we're looking at managing the marital relationship. I see a lot of response on the our social media handles. Let's see what we can take. We can't take all, but we'll try. Good morning. My name is Emeria Anetu. I love this program. Please, I want to ask a question. Is it advisable for a married lady being called every minute of a day by her mother, all in the name of she's my only daughter? I don't want her to suffer or lack anything over there, putting confusion in the daughter's marriage. This is the husband, I think, asking the question. Okay.
No, I'd say it's a total no. It's a total no, because if the mother was thinking like that, I think she should have left her daughter in her own house. Because when you leave your house, you go marry your spouse, you become husbands and wife, and you become one. So interference from outside always.
Too much calls.
Too much. Look, what are you calling her for?
Are you calling her
For crying out
Why
loud?
do you even let her go there?
Well, that's what I said. So you see, look.
Well, it depends on what the guy is saying.
No, I think
If
no.
she's calling every now and then to ask, have you eaten or have you done this, then
No,
it's wrong.
to the daughter.
Yeah, to the daughter, I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
wrong.
It's wrong.
But if
Yeah.
she's calling to just, because probably she's missing her and they're getting in touch, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they can gist every day. The thing is that the wife should know when to give the husband his time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And it's not because of the frequency of call. If she's calling to find out what's happening at home, then I mean, that's wrong.
No, that's
Just
wrong.
For this man to complain.
That's for the man. See, this
I'm
is
sure
the
the
man
woman
knows.
is,
The man knows why
Well, we
he
don't have all
sent
the
you.
details,
No,
you know.
the man. Well, with the little
He
detail
actually
we
said
have.
to find out, to be sure that
Yeah.
she does not lack. That means
So
he's
that means-
asking.
yeah.
Now, what
so-
happens from the time of their courtship?
Yes.
Could it be that this girl insisted she must manage this person and the mother believes that the man is not
Capable.
man enough?
Then the marriage
right?
shouldn't have worked.
It shouldn't have even from
Yes,
the beginning
from the
started,
beginning.
you
So
know,
the
because
foundation is already
today's
bad.
parents, not my parents anyway, will get to marry for our kids. Even give them everything for a start. We'll marry, do the wedding for them, get them a house, and in some cases want to be sure that they do it right to get the right baby. Now,
No, they don't do the wedding for the kids. They do the weddings for themselves.
Yes.
well, you know.
Oh, you haven't noticed?
No,
So for me,
wedding
for
is
my own
very
thinking is for the kids. You know why? Because they pay everything.
that's what I'm saying.
But
And
the
to
show is actually
it's
for
for
them.
them.
It's for them.
It's for the parents.
Which is actually very wrong.
That's
when,
it.
when
So the
when
foundation is
announcement
wrong.
is out,
Yes.
you're not saying Kevin weds Joy.
Joy.
No.
Is
And
the
the
mother
chief-
of this person.
So that's it. So you see, this is what I'm saying. Most parents already know that they want their kids to get married. Typical Nigerian society, what the society says, your kids are not married, my kids are married, so there's something wrong with you. So peer pressure. So everybody wants their kids to get married. So the thing now is that the man is not up to what you feel your child should get married to. But the thing here is that other people's kids have gotten married. You've won Ashwebi.
Several.
The stage and all that is for you guys. So now you now make your kids now marry who they're not meant to get married to, forgetting that after the marriage it's a long
after the
haul.
wedding is a
So
marriage.
that's why
After
most
the
of
wedding is the marriage,
it's-
right?
yes, that's it. So that's why most of the time they tend to have issues when they
keep
get
monitoring.
into a marriage.
All right. Good evening. Okay, sorry. He said, I listened to your program today. It was nice. Please advise me. I met a lady and she agreed to marry me and told me to see the parents. But suddenly, she tells me that I'm very good, but there is no love on her own side of the relationship of less than 4 months. what do I do as a man? Okay, the relationship is 4 months old, and she doesn't feel there is love. I don't know.
No, who is the man?
The man is the one.
The man is the
The
one
man.
complaining.
The man is the one complaining.
Yes,
There's no
so-
you see okay, if it's the other way around, if there's no love, I think they shouldn't
no need.
they shouldn't butt in, because if it's with a woman, there's something I noticed in relationship and marriages. The woman love always comes and subsides,
Yes,
you
it
know.
does, yeah.
So that's the thing about it. But if it's the man, he should just forget about the relationship.
Can I say something
But go
about
ahead.
that? Yeah, you know, there's this misconception about the thinking of love. It's a man that is designed to love. A woman is designed to reciprocate the love given
yes.
to her.
Yes, that's how it is.
Now,
Yes,
a lot of ladies often say, "I don't have love for him." You're not there to have love for him. You're there to reciprocate the love.
Exactly.
What is it giving to you? Does it meet up to your expectations of your love language? If it does, then you need to start working towards getting to meet it. Then you not get to the point where you're always not get where above is.
man.
Right? And that's how it's supposed to be. If you're pursuing her and she's not giving attention, look another way around. Now, sometimes for us men, we believe that this is what it's supposed to be. This settles it. Now, when we get no, that rejection tend to give us some kind of psychological, effect that I must prove that this thing, and so you just keep on pursuing. I've learn to move away as quick as possible. In some cases, look for a neighbor that is within that environment.
To spite her.
No, not to spite her, to just see how you can get your things done because you're desirous.
Okay, I get it.
Kevin,
Kevin,
that's on spite. That's on spite.
Many times, love
Yeah.
is not always at first sight with women.
yeah, with women.
Mostly for men.
Yes.
So it depends on what he's all about, and you know.
No, he
and
doesn't love her. Forget.
Well, okay. So if he really loves
doesn't
her,
love him.
4 months is maybe
but the
short
love
for the
is
woman.
short.
Yes.
the women.
For the
The girl
woman,
might
you know?
just be trying to
Yes, to
observe
understand him. Yes.
So it's either he
So
calms
either he
down.
wants it,
Because
yes.
women that you see, the thing about women, people have not studied women. I will do all the shakara. Because
It's
I'm meant to
Exactly.
do the shakara.
Yes.
And that's why I tell people, times have changed. I realize that women are the ones chasing men. I beg. There are certain things that is a man's job and certain things that are women's job.
I see.
No, I'm going
Objection.
no,
Yes.
Kelvin, I'm going to tell you that. Because let me tell you, a man should woo a woman.
Yes,
I
definitely.
am sick and tired of women going after men.
Proposing.
That's why it's not working.
No matter how
Now,
you
yes,
do
It's
it,
not
yes,
working.
yes,
it's
another side
never
of
been,
it.
may you kiss the bride. It's
Yes.
always, may you kiss the groom. As always, you can now kiss the bride.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I agree that it's important men, goes after women. They chase the woo, right? But in a situation where some of us are actually very shy people, we don't actually know how to speak. We've had cases
You
where
don't know how to speak.
we've had
You
cases
speak when
where
you have to speak.
some
You've
men have
you
had
speak
cases
when you
where
have to
they just keep coming around. They couldn't say their intentions,
You-
and before they knew what's happening,
You snooze,
Somebody
you
else
lose.
is going to come and
just
take her.
pick it up, right?
You lose.
Yes.
You snooze, you lose, right?
Exactly.
So here's the thing: if the woman gets to know that this guy, yes, she said,
How does she know?
Why don't women always ask this question? What do you really want from me?
No. I don't.
Right?
It's not in a woman's
Now,
place to
you
ask
ask
that.
that question does not mean that you overtake his actions. You ask the question does not make you less of yourself. When you ask a guy
You can
out,
ask that question after, long after, not just there.
no, not
when he's all
immediately.
around you.
No, not immediately. When the guy keeps coming around you, he's not saying anything. Instead of you to allow such a distraction to take away other attention that are coming towards you, you'll be able to clarify that as quick as possible. The inability to define relationship from the onset has oftentimes led to some of these crises that we have today in the society. He's coming around you. He's buying you things. He's getting you flowers. He's getting you stuff. You're not asking any question. Girl, you're already giving him non-verbal communication of yes,
okay.
that you have something going on. But if he's doing this, he say, excuse me, please, I've seen that you're coming around. What are you doing all of this for? I need to know. If he can't say it, tell him, if it is for this, please, I'm not ready for this for now.
Interested, yeah.
Whatever you're doing now, you're doing it on your own volition. It's not a license to think that we have something going on. That man will wake up. If he's a man, then he will tell you, girl, truth is, I'm investing because I know I'm going to get good returns. And
Kevin, before you start your business, we invest in a woman because I want to go. Okay, let's still go back to the marriage that is already in existence.
Okay.
Last week we brought up something quite casually, and we said one of the reasons why we don't want men sleeping out is or sleeping on their own in their
okay.
room is what they really do with their phones in the night. I want us to speak on this. What is the place of the device, the mobile device in a relationship. Because I see people who will lie down, couple. This person is facing north, the other one is facing south, and they are chatting with different people. You've been to work and back. The time you're supposed to be together, you're busy on the phone. Can this phone stay in the living room and we stay in the bedroom?
I think when people are married, you're talking about the bedroom. I go out a lot, and you go to restaurants and different places, and the husband says he's taking his wife out for a good time. It's unbelievable that where they're supposed to talk as husband and wife and do catch up and all that, because everybody's busy and all that, they're using their phone in a restaurant. So imagine in a restaurant where they're supposed to be talking, in the bedroom,
What would they do?
what would they do? So here the man is using his phone, the woman is using her phone, but most of the times I noticed men don't really like their wives using their phones, but they rather use their own phones.
Or somebody wakes up in the night, says, I can't sleep, and he's inside the phone.
You see, so
And we all know that the phone can make you not to sleep.
even
because
there's something I even noticed is that the ones that they stay in the same room,
Yes.
one of the spouse, they go out. Say they don't want to disturb the spouse that is sleeping. I think that spouses, when you come home, it's not about command or no command, or who is Oga, who is king, who is queen.
For respect.
When you get home, there are certain times I think and I advise all those devices should be put off.
Or
Just
if you,
make a
or if you
deliberate
want to
effort.
make it for respect for your spouse.
For your spouse.
If you want to remove it somewhere, remove it.
I like the last part of our statement for the fact that make it a point of duty to take it away. Why do we have our phones on our beds, sleeping, a chair, all of those things? We were never taught how to use phones.
True.
They just gave us phone.
We saw this thing and we're excited, so everybody is always exploring.
True.
And some of us are started, finding some other alternative to get ourselves positively or negatively distracted. Right?
Distraction.
And so what we now see, we'll bring that also to our beds, even to our outings, like you said, talked about the restaurant thing, where they are trying to catch up and say, oh, you won't believe it, look at this thing. So we tend to want to get our partners to join in this distraction that we're bringing on board, so that we know that we are partners in crime. Truth is, when it's time for bed, this should be taken out of the bedroom.
Completely.
Or because of work exigencies, you want to keep it, in a place where we also don't know that radiation comes with this thing that affects us, that makes it difficult for us to sleep.
True.
Yes.
Because of the light rays that comes in. If we are well educated, we will know that it's an abuse that we must avoid.
Some will tell you, well, I'm reading news, because I can't sleep. Meanwhile,
I'm
the
even
phone
guilty
lights
because I
will
just
actually make you not to sleep.
One message, and if you have a message on YouTube, it goes on. I'm already asleep, and it goes on, and then when it finishes, the next one comes on. I'm listening to the Bible, it goes on, and it just goes on. So I'm very guilty about that.
All right.
So, but truth is that we must be deliberate.
I deliberately don't have
Okay, so our
notification on my
time is
phones.
no longer ours. Just maybe one sentence to go. Your parting words.
Yes. Be deliberate. Compliment each other.
Thank you. That's it.
Understand your spouse. The foundation is very key. Don't try to impress anybody.
Okay.
Well, be intentional in all your actions, and be sure that you're getting married to or being in a relationship with someone that you truly are convinced about. Without that, failure is inevitable.
All right. Well said. And I don't know what else to add, except maybe if you love your wife, if you love your husband, continue with that love. Remember what brought you together and stick to it. Mind you, your marriage could be 50 years old. Your marriage could be 40 years old. It could be 30 years old. But always remember, your wife is a babe. And your husband is that bobo for you at all times. So let's keep the marriage hot and going. Bye for now.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful.